Let's look at our first example of doing a confidence interval for a proportion. All right, now notice we can tell this is a confidence interval for a proportion because of the word proportion within the problem. And of course, constructing a confidence interval is here in our instructions. To estimate the proportion of students at a large college who are female, a random sample of 120 students is selected. There are 69 female students in the sample. We want to construct a 90% confidence interval for the proportion of all students at the college who are female. Now let's notice this is 120 students in the sample, so it's a large sample, meaning that we're going to use our z-chart again. So we're going to go away from the t-chart we had last time and back to the z-chart. To find a proportion, we take the number of females that were found in the sample over the total number of students sampled. So 69 divided by 120, which gives us 0.575. Alpha is 1 minus 0.9, 1 minus the confidence level, and that's 0.10. And then recall, to find alpha over 2, we always divide this by 2. So we're looking for z of 0.05. So let's go to our standard normal table and find the closest thing we can to an area of 0.05 in the table. All right, so I'm going to go to my table, which I seem to have lost. So here's our z table. If we look in the body of this table for the closest thing to 0.05, let's notice that right here between 0.0505 and 0.0495 would be 0.05. And they're both the same distance apart. So this is at negative 1.64 and this one is at negative 1.65. So we're going to change that to 1.645. Now remember, we looked up the negative, but we want the positive for our confidence interval. So we want 1.645. All right, so let's go back. This is 1.645. And now we're ready to fill into our confidence interval for proportion formula. All right, so we need p hat is 0.575 plus and minus z of alpha over 2 is 1.645. And now we need the square root. All right, so we need the square root of p hat, 0.575, times 1 minus 0.575. And then on the bottom, our sample size n is 120. All right, now I recommend that you do this square root first so you don't tend to make mistakes in your calculator. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, 0.575 plus and minus 1.645, and I will put this square root into my calculator first. All right, so in the calculator, that gives 0.045127. I'm going to go ahead now and multiply my 1.645 times that decimal. So I will have 0.0742. All right, and now let's go ahead and get the ends of our confidence interval by doing 0.575 minus this number and 0.57 plus this number. Okay, so the lower end of our confidence interval ends up being 0.5008, and the upper end ends up being 0.6492. Now, just as we did with previous confidence intervals, we still have to make a statement at the end. We are 90% confident the true. Now, this is not the true mean. This is a proportion. So the true proportion, if I could spell, or type rather, If we look up the top, we want to tell what that proportion is. So this is the proportion of female students at this college. We are 90% confident the true proportion of female students at this college is between 0.5008 and 0.6492.